This is CBC Here and Now.
New Year's Eve is looking a little bit wet or snowy depending on where you are across the province.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Anthony Germain. We start tonight with the latest COVID-19 update. No new cases of COVID-19 in Newfoundland and Labrador today, although we do know more about yesterday's case, a man in the eastern region who tested positive. That case is linked to travel. He returned to the province from working in Manitoba, and there is also a major update for international travelers tonight. Canada now requires anyone flying into the country to provide a negative COVID-19 test taken 72 hours before arrival. Now, this new measure is in addition to the country's mandatory quarantine. International passengers are still required to isolate for 2 weeks.
Well, temperatures certainly started mild in the east, sitting at 6 degrees at one point overnight. Temperatures across the board, though, through the day, sitting around the 0 degree mark. Then we've got those cooler temperatures for Lab City around -16. Not a whole lot on the go today. Some flurries and light snow along the west coast. Some flurries making their way across the Avalon tonight as well. But if we look ahead, sneak preview to what we're going to see New Year's Eve. A little bit of a system rolls through Labrador. It's going to bring some snow and some rain through portions of the island, but I will have all those details coming up.
Well, thanks, Ashley. To some difficult news in Western Canada now. A Newfoundlander working in Alberta has died on the job. A 29-year-old man from Bloomfield, that's near Clarenville, and a 28-year-old woman from Calgary were inside a pickup truck that was hit by a bulldozer. The crash happened Monday evening at Suncor's Fort Hills operation, about 90 kilometers north of Fort McMurray. The man driving the bulldozer wasn't injured, but the passengers in the pickup truck were pronounced dead at the scene. Suncor says most mining operations have been put on hold while occupational health and safety officials investigate the accident. Well, to some business news now. Hotels are experiencing low occupancy rates, with some closing their doors this month and others suspecting to follow suit if business doesn't improve. Here Now's Heather Gillis has more.
With my loyalty guests, they have their own personalized bathrobes and pillowcases.
The Luxus Boutique Hotel in downtown St. John's shut down on December 20th. Manager Chris Woodley has been in the hospitality business for 35 years.
It's not like anything I've seen before. It's been devastating, for sure. Our occupancies have been down, to next to nothing.
The luxury hotel relied on national and international travelers for their $400 a night rooms, a segment of the travel industry that's been decimated by the pandemic, something Woodley now fears may not come back.
So I fear that the Zoom meetings will just take over, and everybody's watching their pennies.
For business, it's been the worst.
Lloyd Hillier owns 5 hotels. Hotel North 1 and 2 in Happy Valley Goose Bay, and others in St. Anthony, North Sydney, and Northwest River. He says business has been bad over the holiday season since the Atlantic bubble popped. Occupancy is at 10%. Usually his hotels are 70% full.
You go in now, you're going to take a bowling ball and throw it down the hallway. There's nobody around anymore.
A few years back, rooms at Hillier's hotels were consistently booked. This summer, his St. Anthony hotel lost 100 bus tours, and that's got him fearing the worst.
Oh, if it doesn't improve, I guess closure is the next thing.
Meanwhile, back in St. John's, one hotel on the doorstep of the St. John's International Airport seems to be faring better than others, even though the airport's traffic is at a fraction of its normal volume.
Tables are kind of segregated, so we got...
Best Western manager Stafford Jenkins says it's thanks to pushing staycation packages, promo videos on social media, and park and fly for offshore workers.
Well, for example, yesterday we were almost about 40%. Today we're at about 30-35%. And tomorrow night, obviously, we're about 55-60%.
He says that's compared to a 90% occupancy rate last year and having all rooms booked the year before.
But all things considering, when nobody knew what the future held for us, we still consider this a victory.
Heather Gillis, CBC News, St. John's.
A man in St. John's is outraged that someone would set an animal trap in his neighborhood. Greg Locke found his neighbor's cat hiding under his car, tangled inside a trap, and he's speaking out, warning other pet owners about the potential danger. He's here with that story.
It began with a knock on his door from a neighbor. She explained that her cat was caught on something under his car.
So underneath the car here, it was hiding. We had thought it had been caught up on something like an exhaust or something, because we could hear the rattling. And then when it shot out from under the car, it was dragging this behind it.
Dragging a rusty old leg hold trap. Not the norm for Meehan Street, a suburban St. John's neighborhood.
Sure enough, when we caught the cat, this was stuck on its paw, just right on the tip of its paw, and I managed to get the lock off of it and squeeze it enough to get the paw out. And off she went to the vet and to get the cat looked at, and mercifully everything's fine. But yeah, what a surprise to find this in your driveway, basically.
Locke is angry because there are so many families around.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, very angry, right? There's no reason to put this out. This is designed for things like muskrat or fox or otters, small game for fur. A friend said maybe they put it out for rats, and I said, well, there's a lot more efficient, cheaper, and easier ways to catch rats than one of these, right? I think that someone set that out here in a residential neighborhood where there are cats, dogs, children, houses around here, lots of young children. If that was over in the park, the kids rooting around in the bushes or something could have easily stuck their hand or stepped in it.
Locke says he went public with the incident, sharing his story on Facebook as a warning for others living in the area and their pets. He believes these types of traps are illegal. The city says hunting is prohibited in parks and public spaces, and trap use is also banned. Cease here, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, to another bright side moment for you now. Hair salons were closed for about 2.5 months earlier this year, and despite that, G. Sikwan has never been busier. He's even opening a second salon.
Okay, since COVID-19 began, the day they announced it's gonna be shut down, like literally, I'm shocked. My first worry is my health, because health is my only wealth ever. When they open, I think I'm the only first salon in town open like 6 a.m. 6 a.m. to 10. Exhausting day, but fulfillment. Like literally, I'm back. I feel like I was born again. Business, I would say better than last year. It tripled. June, July, August, then September, same thing. I maintain it. Now I'm planning. We are on the set of opening my second branch at East End. That's why I'm hiring new people here from the school, from Academy Canada. I have like 4 of them now working with me. I might absorb them because at least I need to work with the locals. So as a team, not my employee, because I don't consider my employee as an employee, it's a team. They joined my team to make this business grow. I work 7 days a week. So that's why I train the people, especially the young ones now. I'm training you because you have a passion, as long as you have love. That's the key. And this is not your job. This is your profession. That's the secret. Please share your blessing always.
This season, we want to be together, and magically, we are.
That magic, that energy, what we're doing is actually making a difference.
You have the right to eat. You have the right to food.
We feel a real responsibility. We've been in this community for a long, long time.
This season, whatever kind of season you make it, make the season kind.
Hey, Shane Howard here in Edmonton, Alberta. I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all my family and friends in Newfoundland. Take care, be safe, and I hope to see you in the new year. All the best.
Welcome back to Here and Now. We're going to take a look now at a group of people who help children in Africa. Joining me now are Marjorie Williams and Betty Whalen. So Marjorie, I'll start with you. What is HOPE?
HOPE is an organization that the four of us are involved with. It's called HOPE because it's helping orphans prosper through education. We traveled there 5 years ago and we fell in love with the 25 children that we help constantly now. In Jinja, Uganda.
Jinja.
Yeah, and when we got there, we fell in love with the 25 children. They were in dire straits, and we knew that education was the one way that they could break the poverty cycle. So we came back and we knew we just simply had to help them.
All right, now Betty, you're also part of this. What are these children like?
The children are so joyful. They are little people. They come up, they're so happy. They love to see white people in their village, and they'll play. They're happy. They're not, I mean, this is their life, so they're not looking at their life as, I don't have things that we might think as Canadians that they should have. And most of the time, they're just really happy and play. They're very nice, beautiful.
And why the focus on education?
Well, education is the one way that you can break the poverty cycle. If you help a child with an education, well, then their family may be educated, and then in turn their village may be educated. So we kind of think that you don't think you can change the world by changing one person, but we truly believe we're changing 25 lives by what we're doing.
Right, and who knows what those children will go on to do.
That's right.
Well, education will be transformational for those. I mean, these kids do live in a village that has a local school, but whether or not the kids went to school or not, there was nobody monitoring and nobody was responsible for them. And for little teenage girls to go to school, 1 week of a month, they're not going to get to go. So part of what we've done is we've raised funds to have all of the children enrolled in a boarding school, and all of their needs are taken care of there. So their food, their beds, their clothing, they get their meds if any of them need any medication, and they get their education there. And they're out of harm's way.
Tell me about Christmas in Uganda. What is that?
Well, 5 years ago, when we first started helping the children in Uganda, one of our good friends, Catherine Bailey, she was steadfast on making sure that those children had a Christmas gift on Christmas Day. She went to all her friends and family, and she asked for donations, and so now for 5 years, we have managed to get Christmas gifts and Christmas food to all the children on Christmas Day. So this year we had to courier it, unfortunately. Last year, me and Betty were able to deliver the gifts ourselves to Uganda. So it's been fantastic that they actually get some special food and a Christmas gift.
And our elves. We have two little elves, Emily and Zoe, who over the past 5 years have come to join us on get the package ready, so they'll help with the wrapping. They've spent their lunch money and allowances and bought small gifts themselves that they could put in the packages. And it's been really, rewarding to see these little girls recognize that there are kids that don't have what they have, and they are so excited to take part every year.
It was very interesting talking to you, and who knows, maybe with some luck in 2021, you'll be able to get back to Uganda to see the kids in person again. Yeah?
Oh, yes, please.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, Ashley joins us now. I was having a great sleep last night, Ashley, and then all of a sudden Mother Nature decided to put on this rumble for all of us.
Yes, many of us in St. John's woke up to a loud clap of thunder around 1 a.m. this morning. Let's take a look at some of the footage that some viewers captured there. Ronnie Barney from Environment Canada actually looked into the archives and only found one other time in early December 2014 that thunder and lightning was recorded, and that's since 2002. But if you remember, this is the second December thunderstorm that St. John's has seen just this year. So how very 2020 for us for sure. The reason for that thunderstorm was a cold front that moved in. Temperatures warmed up overnight, and as that cold front swept through, we did spark some thunderstorms, but overall not a whole lot going on today. We did see some flurries and light snow along the west coast, and they're working their way across the Avalon as we speak, and that will generally continue as we head through the overnight tonight. Here's where we're sitting temperature-wise. We saw, like I said, 6 degrees this morning, drop down now to -1 in St. John's, and those temperatures into the minus single digits for Corner Brook and minus double digits for most of Labrador, -17 in Lab City as we speak. Taking a look at the wind chill, because of that, we've got wind chill values around -8 in St. John's and then minus teens as you head towards the west coast. And then overall tonight, that flurry activity that's happening along the west coast will continue, and then some clearing skies more than likely for central and eastern Newfoundland, and then not a whole lot going up through Labrador as well. Some light snow will move in as you head towards the morning hours. Overnight tonight, temperatures will dip into the minus single digits. Breezy though, out of the west or southwest, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. So if you are planning on heading out, bundle up because there will be a little bit of a wind chill tonight. -22 for Lab City, -17 in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, and coastal areas of Labrador. You're looking at temperatures in the minus teens as well as the potential for some flurries. Now tomorrow, New Year's Eve day, we're looking at some snow spreading across the Big Land as well as most of the island. That will quickly change over to rain into the afternoon, as you can see down through the southwestern and along the southern coast, and that will quickly spread further east as we head into the evening hours. Eventually things will clear out as we head through the overnight, but the lingering flurry activity will continue along the west coast as well as coastal Labrador. So as far as that accumulation goes, trace to 5 centimeters tonight, not a whole lot on the go, but it's tomorrow that we'll see some of that accumulation. Higher elevations you could see 10 to 15 plus centimeters, and that's again including the accumulation that will happen after you change over to rain. Temperatures tomorrow will be above 0, hence that change over to rain, 3 to 4 degrees, and it'll take a little bit longer to see the eastern areas to see those temperatures climb, but the winds will also ramp up with this one as well. So southeasterlies to southwesterlies on the west coast, anywhere from 40 to 70 kilometers per hour. And then into the evening hours, that's when those winds will really ramp up for eastern areas, 50 to 70 kilometers per hour. So I just want to time that out for you. This is around 7 o'clock tomorrow night, so right when we would be seeing some of those fireworks. Doesn't look that great, but see those temperatures climbing in the east? That's when we'll see that change over to rain and then back over to flurries along the west coast. Eventually, after midnight, looks like things clear out and those winds will eventually ease as well. As far as the outlook looks for New Year's Day, things quiet down. Just some lingering flurries along the west coast, maybe along the southern portion of the island as well. Otherwise, sunshine and temperatures into the minus single digits. Some flurry activity for the northern peninsula along the strait and then portions of Labrador as well, but you're going to be sitting into the minus teens. That's the story through Saturday as well. Temperature-wise, not really moving a whole lot. Looks like things will stay fairly nice for most of the island. Again, some flurry activity along the west and south coast, and then Lab West, you're looking at about -12 as your afternoon high. As we head through into the end of the week and then the beginning of next week, temperatures are climbing again. So either rain or snow Sunday and Monday, and then overnight lows just near or above 0. It'll be a little bit cooler for central and western Newfoundland, so a little bit more flurry activity expected on Sunday as your temperatures hover around -2, and then looking fairly nice for western Newfoundland, -1 and 0 degrees as you head into the beginning of next week. Eastern Labrador, sunshine right through the weekend. A little bit more cloud cover on Monday, but then flurries will stick around for most of Lab West. Wanted to share this shot. Terry shared this one with us of Point Amour Lighthouse in Labrador. Thank you for sharing that. If you have any weather photos, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Great picture. Well, one of the joys of working on Here Now for all of us is getting to meet Newfoundlanders and Labradorians who tell their own stories. Some of them are sad, some of them are happy, some of them are both. And that's certainly the case with a very popular series, This Is My Story. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights after the break.
To my twin sister Susie, Merry Christmas from the Mile High City, Denver, Colorado. Christmas in Newfoundland is something we look forward to every year, and this year was supposed to be extra special because we both gave birth to 2 beautiful babies in 2020, and we're anxiously awaiting them to meet. I'm so proud of you, and I'm sending all my love back to Newfoundland this holiday season, and I can't wait to get home for a visit. Of Laura.
Welcome to Here and Now's special look back and look ahead at our series, This Is My Story, where we check back in with people who have lived through some trying times to see where they are today. We begin with a story from 2009, a boating tragedy that happened just here off the coast of St. John's. The Sea Gypsy started quickly taking on water. 3 of the 5 crew members were rescued that day, while the body of a 4th was recovered at the scene. Here's some archival footage from that time.
Like everything happened so quick, the boat was sinking, she was going down, and the water was up to be past my knees, nearly up to my waist. It was just like suicide going down and trying to get off the boat, but I don't know what made me do. I had to go, I had to get off. So I went down and I stood on the arse of the boat. She was sunk on the arse. Then I threw myself in the water. I didn't know who was behind, and I got sucked under the boat. And I see the planes, but the planes gave me hope. I knew they knew we were in the water. So I was waiting at line. I said, "Where's the chopper to?" I said, "Is he coming at all?" I said, "I can't hold on much longer, right?"
The 5th crew member, Chris McCarthy, was never found. His wife, April McCarthy, spoke with CBC for the first time about the tragedy last year. Here's April's segment of This Is My Story.
It was a Saturday morning. The Sea Gypsy was coming in with a full load. There was no alarm in the area that took on water.
The Sea Gypsy was about 130 kilometers east of St. John's when it started taking on water.
It's something you always hear about, not something that you think is going to happen.
I'm April, and in 2009, my husband Chris was lost at sea in the sinking of the Sea Gypsy, and this is my story.
A Newfoundland fisherman's been missing at sea for more than 36 hours. He was part of a crew that abandoned ship yesterday morning. A fellow crew member is dead, plucked from the sea yesterday, along with 3 survivors in lifeboats.
When the news came and he wasn't the first person off the boat, I knew he wasn't coming home. It was a beautiful sunny day. Like, you can't imagine something bad happening on a day like that, and you just get that call that changes your life forever. And I remember realizing it was over. The life that we knew was over, and I was on my knees on the floor, and my son Ben was putting his arms around my neck, and he was crying, and we were just holding each other, and that's what we were saying, it was over. My daughter knew, even though she was 6 at the time. I said, "You know, honey," I said, "your daddy is not coming home." And she said, "I know, Mom." She said, "He wasn't a survivor." And I looked at her, and she was playing with her Barbies, kneeling on the edge of the bed, and I was like, "What does that mean?" And she said, "It means that he didn't make it, he's gone to heaven." That was the hard part, was telling the children. Chris was my best friend. When we met, he was kind of shy, so he was like the yin to my yang, because I'm really outgoing, and he liked to joke around. He had this sly little grin, and he absolutely loved hunting. But Chris was the type, like, if there's something was wrong and he could help, he'd be there. And that was a big part of his life. He was taking care of his family. He was always such a hard worker on the boat. He was a great person. He was a great man. Were we upset and hurt about it that Chris died? Yes. What happened, happened. And if you live with regret and bitterness and anger about it, then there's going to be no room for all the other things that I wanted in my life. Happiness and joy and pleasure and love. I completely focused on the children, making sure they were okay. They had a traumatic loss to their innocence at such an early age, and I had to be there for them because I needed them to know that the world wasn't a scary place and they were going to be fine in it. We moved here 10 years ago from Trapassi. I didn't know anybody here at the time. My kids had a new house, they were going to a new school, and then they lost their dad. On the night that accident happened, my now very good friend and I always say adopted grandmother, Zita Dunphy, came and sat with my mom that night, and she's been a part of our family ever since. And times when I was having a hard time, I don't know how she knew, but she'd come up and she said, I was thinking about you today. And just her being there at times, just sitting with my kids so I could wash the dishes or put an extra load of laundry while she played cards with them, it made such a difference. She's an angel. We have on Chris's gravestone, your love will always be our guide. And it has been my guide throughout this. I learned early on that grief is a very lonely place. And I knew that other people felt that too, and I didn't want people to feel alone. So I started out, just small things at first. I was doing fitness classes and stuff, and people would come and confide to me, and it just kind of grew from there. Threads of Life is a wonderful organization that helps connect people who are going through the same experiences. They do an Atlantic Family Forum for the one that I just attended in May. There was 100 of us there, and each person's life had been touched in some way by a workplace tragedy, a workplace fatality, an illness. Those people know where you're coming from. They know what you've been through. Threads of Life trained me in Toronto this past January to be a volunteer family guide. You're matched up with a family who has been through exactly a similar situation, lost their spouse. You're not there to be their counselor, you're not a psychiatrist, you're not there to fix their problems. You're there to listen and to offer support and say, you know what, it'll get better. I do a lot of hiking on the East Coast Trail. I love to be in nature. It centers you, it calms you. And when I'm by the water, I also feel so connected to Chris. I know that's for his too. It's very healing. Our life without him hasn't been the same. It's always in the back of our mind. Me and my kids talk about him all the time. What would your dad say about this? What would your dad think? Like, Dad would love this. And I know that he sees us and he's so happy and he's so proud. Looking back at how far we've come and how much we've done, me and the kids, I was very proud. We're at this other stage now where my children and me, we're all individual people and we have lives and dreams and goals, and they're moving towards their lives. And I have to branch out further and continue my growth and move towards a new life for myself too. Now I want to finish my book I'm writing about what happened to us, not concentrating on the accident, but concentrating on our journey, where we got to a place from grief to gratitude. And I can honestly say I'm in that place. Yes, it was incredibly difficult. There were times where I was like, how am I going to do it without you, Chris? But now I realize that he was there beside us all the time. His love and courage that I knew he had at those last moments, and how he must have felt leaving us,
just propelled us to keep going and propelled me to keep being strong.
Shortly after that episode aired, April went back to school, and she recently completed her program in travel and tourism. She's also thinking about offering more personal training courses online. She's finishing up her book, and she's also spending lots of quality time with her daughter, who's currently in her last year of high school.
I heard I was a diabetic with no pills.
Stay tuned, because after the break, we'll revisit the story of Chess Sweetapple and a berry picking trip that went horribly wrong. We've heard many stories throughout our series, but none quite like that of Chess Sweetapple. Back in 2013, he went up to his cabin in central Newfoundland and decided to pick berries off of a bog, but he got lost and went missing for a week. Here's Chess and Flo Sweetapple talking about the ordeal after he was rescued.
Went upstream, thought I was going to head to a pond that I knew, towards my friend's cabin, but I was on the right-hand side of the road, which these are the two ponds that I am not familiar. The other ponds are know them all. So I walked in times, I was up to my knees in water, and times I was up to here. And I said, don't go in the woods, because if I went in the woods, they may never find me. So I stayed on that bog. Fear never ever registered in my mind. Never. You know, there's nothing ever crossed me like they're never going to find me, I'm going to die. Never crossed my mind. Never.
I tell you the truth, after 7 days, my son and I were doubtful that he would be home, but as the doctor in Corner Brook said, he's a miracle man.
We caught up with the Sweet Apples last year, and they offered new details about that harrowing time. Here's Chess's segment of This Is My Story.
I went up to my cabin on a Friday with the intention of just going to check out this bog to see if there was any bake apples on it. It got a little dark and I decided to take a shortcut through the woods.
He was submerged in water for the whole week.
I heard I was a diabetic with no pills.
Florence Sweetapple didn't think she'd ever see her husband Chess alive again.
Hi, I'm Chess.
Hi, I'm Flo.
6 years ago, I went missing while picking berries in Millertown, and this is my story.
The 74-year-old St. John's man has been missing for a week after he didn't return from a berry picking trip.
When I went into the bog, it was orange, so I had a Ziploc bag, and I just started picking and picking and picking, and I guess it got a little dark, and I decided to take a shortcut through the woods, which I've done numerous times. But anyway, it didn't work out that way, so I spent the night on the bog, just over the bog where I was picking. And the next morning, my intentions was to walk down this woods road to where my truck was.
He was walking, telling me all about this, and he was walking around this pond, and it was a flat rock, and he stepped on it, and he zoomed right out in the pond he went. And he had to swim in and get back up again.
My 2 arms, I must have 1,000 mosquito bites. I had a Helly Hansen jacket. Sometimes I put that over me, sometimes if the water was too, I lay it down in the bog. But I heard I was a diabetic with no pills, and I knew if I had something sweet, the sugars in the bake apples kept me from going low, and I had this little cup, and I used to drink that bog water, and that's what kept me going. I think it's about the 3rd day I must have just took a diabetic coma, passed out.
He always called me when he'd get there, and he didn't. And so I was calling them all that night, and I kept getting a recording. The person you were trying to reach is either outside or has their phone turned off. So I called my friend. She said, well, my husband and I will take a run up to look for him. So when she went to the cabin, she called me on her cell. She said, all your sheds are open, but your cabin is locked. I said, put a little note on the door for me and say, you better call Florence because she's going to murder you. And the Mounties found a note. So now it's a crime scene. Our cabin and our truck was all roped off as a crime scene. Now that's only a figure of speech. Anyway, I had the Mountie here for 2 days with me and asked me all kinds of questions. And on the 2nd day, he realized no, there was no problem. Then we left it at that. They were supposed to be looking for Chess, but the Mounties were told that he never went down this bog. They gave up looking, and now my son was overseas, and I didn't want to go letting him know about this. And when he came back and he got a hold of the Mounties, he said, get in and look for my father.
Well, I was after walking about 1.5 miles up a pond. After the 3rd day, I was probably getting a little delusional, so I didn't see or hear anything. The 7th morning they came in, and they had the mayor of Millertown, and as they were searching all around, they moved up where I was, and they're on their way out again, and Mr. Green, he walked over and he said, Chess, we got you. And my words to him was, what took you so long to find me? I used an expletive, but I won't say that here.
What was it like to get that phone call?
Oh, my son sat there and I sat in my chair and we were talking about, he said, now Mom, this is 7 days. So You got to make up your mind what you're going to do. And with that, the phone rang. It was the Mounties in Grand Falls. And he said, Florence, I want to let you know we found your husband. I froze. I didn't say nothing. I waited for him to tell me what was wrong. And he said, he's alive. And my son jumped up and he grabbed me. I say he could hear me in Grand Falls.
Oh, it was emotional. Especially when you bring up, when she just, it was bad then, but no, it was very emotional.
I got to have faith in God, and He made it.
After the ordeal up in the woods, I come back and we drove up to the cabin. And I said, just well, get rid of it.
Now, when we went out and closed the door, we never looked back. We just kept going. By now we got the house in Florida.
So we go every November.
It's beautiful. I mean, I just love it down there. I mean, every day the sun shines.
Well, I'm out in the garden all day long. All day long. We got some nice tropical bushes and cactuses.
3 big palm trees in.
We got it pretty tropical looking.
That's his life. That's what he loves doing. We do a lot of visiting down there. We got friends in Anniversaries Island. We go down and spend a week with them, and down in St. Pete, we got nice friends down there.
Gentleman as I am.
Thank you. I had a stroke the winter. Oh my gosh, what a going over I got.
But she's over this, son?
It was a hard time. I went through a hard time. Every doctor that I had could not believe that I never got no side effects. And I said, oh, you think I'm a miracle? I said, you want to hear his story?
Do you still bear pick today?
No.
He definitely don't pick berries.
No, I don't go picking berries anymore.
Just look at the little babies down there, no?
What would you say to someone now, today, who says they're going to go out berry picking?
Go pick them. Just go pick them. But take your cell phone with you, too.
And turn it on.
I recently spoke with Flo Sweetapple, and she and Chess were actually down in the States when the pandemic broke out in March, and they had to fly back immediately. They decided to put their Florida home on the market and have since sold it. Now they're happy to be back home in Newfoundland, spending time at their house in the Battery.
I can't remember much.
Kyle Hines was burned nearly beyond recognition.
Stay tuned, because after the break, we'll have a sneak peek for you of new episodes of This Is My Story. 2021 is just around the corner, and that means soon you'll have new episodes of This Is My Story to watch. But in the meantime, here's an exclusive sneak peek of what's coming up.
I was in the house, sleeping upstairs.
4 children escaped this disaster without injury.
I couldn't get down the stairs because the fire started from there.
5-year-old Kyle Hines wasn't so lucky.
My dad did come up to the 2nd floor and pulled me out.
Kyle Hines was burned nearly beyond recognition.
I didn't know what really happened.
Kyle Hines is boarding a Learjet to a special burn unit at a Shriner Hospital in Boston.
All my body was just covered in bandages. The Shriners Hospital in Boston had an amazing setup. I was always a fighter even before my accident. I take my burns as a positive. It helped me in life to get where I am today.
Decided to go on one last run on Skidoo.
They were coming across an area called Tarrington Basin, veered off the main trail, and headed for trouble.
Sean and Greg were on one Skidoo. They broke through first.
Both machines went through the ice.
At this point, I didn't have no boots. And my toes, I thought they were gone.
Jennifer kicked her way out of the water and laid motionless on the ice.
I went through really bad post-traumatic stress, actually, and I hid it for a very long time.
Dialysis took a physical toll as well as an emotional toll. I was doing dialysis 3 days a week, and it was 4 hours and 15 minutes each time.
The RCMP corporal from Elliston has been on the wait list for a kidney transplant since February. He was diagnosed with lupus in 2009 and has been on dialysis for almost 5 years.
We were at Costco, my wife and I, and we had a cart full of items, and my phone rang. It was transplant coordinator basically saying, we've got a kidney for you, and you got to get to Halifax.
I think I was 8 or 9, and my sisters were gone to Walmart to get new rollerblades, and I wanted some too, and my dad said, I really don't know how that's going to happen. So we found these rollerblades that went over my shoes, and I got in my walker and started rollerblading around the cul-de-sac where we live, and turned around to my dad and said, see, I can do it.
Hi, my name is Kyle.
My name is Shane.
My name is Jennifer.
My name is Haley.
And this is my story.
This is my story.
This is my story.
And this is my story.
Those are just some of the heartwarming stories you'll hear from This Is My Story in the new season. Well, in the meantime, I want to give a shout out to our production crew, videographer Sherry Vivian, video editor Gary Quigley, our recently retired senior media librarian Carolyn Atkinson, and also our reporters Paula Gale and Malone Mullen. Thanks so much for watching. All the best in 2021. See you next year.
Let's check out who's celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. Wishing a happy 50th wedding anniversary to Wayne and Wendy Emery. Happy 61st anniversary to Jack and Marie Duffett living in St. John's. Happy 51st anniversary to Bob and Pat Taylor in Corner Brook. And a happy 65th anniversary on New Year's Eve to Albert and Vicky Stiles of St. John's. Happy 57th wedding anniversary to Pete and Rose Collins in Collinette, St. Mary's Bay. And 50th wedding anniversary greetings to Charlie and Edith Banfield from Deer Lake. Greetings going out to Woodrow and Stanley Whalen from Clarenville on their 56th wedding anniversary. And happy 57th anniversary to Emma and Gerald Bungay from Trinity, Bonavista Bay. Happy 52nd anniversary to Melita and Mike Wilcott from Labrador City. They'll celebrate on Saturday, the 2nd of January. Happy 56th wedding anniversary to Selby and Norma Sooley of Daniels Harbour. Happy 50th anniversary to Mac and Trixie Downer from Greens Pond. Their big day was on Boxing Day. They now live in Mount Pearl. Happy 50th anniversary also on Boxing Day to David and Viola Hoff on Change Islands. Happy 52nd wedding anniversary to Oswald and Sadie Brown of Summerford. And happy 50th wedding anniversary today to Doug and Gertie Pike of St. John's. Yesterday, Cyril and Linda Cutler celebrated 50 years together. Congratulations. And a happy 53rd wedding anniversary greeting out to Gord and Emily Witherall of Fortune. Happy 54th anniversary to Pete and Lorraine Wadman of Dunville. Happy 50th wedding anniversary for David and Roberta Warren of Marguerite Fox Roost. Happy anniversary to Roy and Iris Stoyles of Glenwood. They're celebrating 65 years together. Amy and Pat Farrell from Marystown wishing a very happy 53rd wedding anniversary. Happy 51st anniversary to Ed and Helen Smith, originally from Churchill Falls, now in Grand Falls, Windsor. Cherry and Gerald Hicks from Millertown, now in CBS, are celebrating their 50th anniversary. Happy 62nd wedding anniversary to Dawn and Dolly Stein in Grand Falls, Windsor. Happy 54th anniversary to Rose and Stan McDonald from Ramia. Happy 58th anniversary to Wilfred and Wilhelmina Wiseman of Trinity, Bonavista Bay. Happy 56th anniversary to Leo and Joyce Galton from Bain Harbor. Anniversary greetings, 62 years to Clarence and Mavis King of Grand Falls, Windsor. They were married in Garson, Ontario. Happy 53rd anniversary to Ronald and Jane Sims of Galtus. 51-year anniversary greetings to Albert and Sarah Marr in Culls Harbor. Happy 54th anniversary to Roger and Joan Jenkins of Tizards Harbor. And happy 53rd anniversary to Betty and Bert Quigley in Deer Lake. Happy 56th anniversary to Marie and Dan Foley from Tilting, Fogo Island. Happy 56th wedding anniversary to Boyce and Olive Parsons from Lumsden. Happy 53rd wedding anniversary to Marianne and Frank Durnford from Isla Morte. Happy 70th wedding anniversary to Anita and Anthony Murphy of Long Harbor, now living in Glovertown. Happy 55th wedding anniversary to George and Bertie Brown in New Harbor. Happy 64th wedding anniversary to Leslie and Pearl Fifield of Cape Friels. Happy 67th wedding anniversary to Robert and Caroline Chalk in Charlottetown. Happy 53rd wedding anniversary to Seward and Jane Pickett from Centerville. Happy 61st anniversary to Gordon and Isabel Budgell in Kings Point. Happy 60th wedding anniversary to Isabel and Roy Feander of Hermitage. Happy 58th anniversary today to Hannah and Aloysius Lake in Dunville. And happy 63rd anniversary to Silas and Blanche Rogers in Chapel Arm. They celebrate on January 3rd. Happy 62nd anniversary to Millicent and Ambrose Penton of Stephenville. Happy 57th wedding anniversary today to Florence and George Clark in Deer Lake. Happy 66th anniversary on New Year's Day to Claude and Flora Boyd from Grand Falls, Windsor, now living in St. John's. Happy 65th anniversary to Patrick and Edith Butt from Port Union. Happy 58th anniversary on New Year's Eve to Doris and Hiram Lemoyne of Port-aux-Basque. Happy 63rd anniversary on January 1st to Dennis and Pauline Hatch of Brownsdale, currently living in Carbonear. Happy 61st anniversary to Ella and Clayton Frampton of North Harbor, Placentia Bay. And happy 55th anniversary to Frida and Norm Pittman of Bellburns. Okay, birthdays. Happy birthday and 93rd birthday to Lara Comden in St. John's. Happy 92nd birthday wishes tomorrow to Joyce Gilbert in Corner Brook. Happy 90th birthday yesterday to Elizabeth Evoy from Logie Bay. She's here with her great-grandson in that picture, Nicholas. Happy 93rd birthday the day after New Year's to Jim Loughlin of Gander. And a big birthday, happy 101st birthday to Agnes Crew in Ramia. Mary Gushu from Holyrood is a Christmas baby. She just turned 90. Congratulations. Happy 92nd birthday to Susanna Pretty in St. John's. And happy birthday to Ross Reed Sr., who celebrated his 90th birthday yesterday. And happy 90th birthday to Cecilia Maloney of Gander. Congratulations to everybody. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.